My 5-year-old daughter, Emma, was coloring at the kitchen table when she said it. Casual, innocent, the way kids drop bombs without knowing they're holding grenades. "Daddy, why does Mom's friend bring her flowers every Tuesday?" I looked up from my laptop. "What friend, sweetheart?" "The tall man. He has a nice car. He always brings yellow flowers." My coffee went cold in my hand. "When does this man come, Emma?" "On Tuesdays, when you're at work. Mommy says he's just a friend." "I work from home on Wednesdays, but I'm supposed to be at the office every Tuesday." Supposed to be. 3 weeks ago, my company switched me to a hybrid schedule. Tuesdays and Thursdays remote, Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the office. I never told my wife, Rachel, about the change. Not on purpose, it just never came up. Which meant every Tuesday for the last 3 weeks, while Rachel thought I was downtown in my office building, I'd actually been in my home office, with noise-canceling headphones, in the back of the house, where I couldn't hear the doorbell or see who was bringing my wife flowers. I set my coffee down carefully, kept my voice light. "Does Mommy's friend stay long?" Emma shrugged, focused on coloring a purple dinosaur. "I don't know. Mommy sends me to my room to play. She says grown-ups need privacy." Privacy. My daughter went back to coloring. I went back to my laptop. But I wasn't working anymore. I was calculating. 3 Tuesdays, 3 visits, 3 times my wife sent our daughter away so she could have privacy with a man who brings her flowers. I didn't explode, didn't interrogate my 5-year-old, didn't storm into the living room where Rachel was folding laundry. I just sat there, hands on the keyboard, and made a decision. Next Tuesday, I wouldn't be in my office. I'd be in my car, parked down the street, waiting. If you want to know what I saw when that friend showed up, hit subscribe, because what happened next didn't just end my marriage, it ended his career. My name is Daniel Foster. I'm 36 years old and I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a software engineer for a mid-sized tech company downtown. Good job, decent pay, the kind of stable career that lets you buy a house in the suburbs and think you've got life figured out. I've been married to Rachel for 8 years. We have 1 daughter, Emma, who just turned 5. On paper, we're the American dream. Nice house in a quiet neighborhood, 2 cars in the driveway, a playset in the backyard that I built myself one summer while Rachel brought me lemonade and Emma helped by handing me the wrong screws. We had date nights, family movie nights, Sunday morning pancakes. I thought we were solid. I thought I knew my wife. Turns out I didn't know her Tuesday schedule. Let me back up. Rachel and I met in college, University of Texas. I was studying computer science. She was in marketing. We met at a party, talked for 3 hours about nothing important, and I knew. She was smart, funny, ambitious. We dated for 4 years, got married right after graduation. She landed a job at a boutique marketing firm downtown. I got hired at a software company. We were young, in love, building a life. When Emma was born, Rachel took a year off. Then she went back part-time, working from home 3 days a week, going into the office 2 days. It worked. We made it work. I handled mornings, getting Emma ready, dropping her at preschool. Rachel handled pickups and afternoons. Evenings, we traded off. Dinner, bath time, bedtime stories. We were a team. At least, I thought we were. The schedule change happened 3 weeks ago. My boss, Kevin, called me into his office on a Friday afternoon. "Dan, we're shifting to a hybrid model. You'll work from home Tuesdays and Thursdays. In the office, Monday, Wednesday, Friday." "Okay," I said. "Any particular reason?" "Office space optimization. We're downsizing the floor plan. Don't worry, your pay and benefits stay the same." "Sounds good." That was it. A 2-minute conversation that changed everything.
I went home that night and didn't mention it. Not because I was hiding it, it just didn't seem important. Rachel asked, "How was work?" I said, "Fine. Kevin's changing some schedules around." "Mm-hmm," she said, distracted by Emma's request for a snack. The moment passed. I didn't think about it again. The first Tuesday, I set up in my home office like always. I have a small room at the back of the house. Used to be a guest bedroom. Now it's my workspace. Desk, 2 monitors, a good chair, noise-canceling headphones. When I'm working, I'm locked in. Meetings, code reviews, deep focus sessions. I don't hear much. That's the point. Rachel knew I was home. She saw me that morning, but she was busy with her own work, and Emma was at preschool until 3 p.m. The day passed normally. I finished work around 5:30, came out of my office, and found Rachel making dinner. "How was your day?" I asked. "Good, busy, got a lot done." "Same." We ate dinner, gave Emma a bath, put her to bed. Normal Tuesday. Except it wasn't. The second Tuesday, same thing. I worked from home, Rachel did her thing, Emma went to preschool. That evening, I noticed something small. There were flowers on the dining room table, yellow roses, fresh. "Those are nice," I said. "Where'd they come from?" Rachel didn't look up from her phone. "Oh, I grabbed them at the store. Thought they'd brighten up the room." "They do." I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? The third Tuesday, yesterday, Emma dropped the bomb. I was working in my office, headphones on, when Emma got home from preschool around 3:15. I heard her little feet running down the hall. She burst into my office. "Daddy!" I pulled off my headphones. "Hey, Bug, how was school?" "Good, we painted." She showed me her hands, still stained with blue and red. "Very cool. Go wash up, okay?" "Okay." She ran off. I went back to work. An hour later, I came out for a coffee refill. Emma was at the kitchen table coloring. Rachel was in the living room folding laundry, earbuds in. I poured my coffee, leaned against the counter. That's when Emma said it. "Daddy, why does Mom's friend bring her flowers every Tuesday?"
The kitchen tilted. I set my mug down slowly. "What friend, sweetheart?" Emma didn't look up from her drawing. "The tall man. He has a nice car. He always brings yellow flowers." My heart started pounding. "When does this man come?" "On Tuesdays, when you're at work." I glanced toward the living room. Rachel couldn't hear us, earbuds in, folding clothes. I crouched down next to Emma, kept my voice calm. "Does Mommy's friend come inside?" "Uh-huh." "How long does he stay?" She shrugged. "I don't know. Mommy sends me to my room to play. She says grown-ups need privacy." Privacy. The word echoed in my head. "Does this happen every Tuesday?" "Uh-huh. He's nice. He talks quiet." "What's his name?" "I don't know. Mommy just calls him her friend." I stood up. My legs felt like they were made of static. "Thanks, Bug. Keep coloring, okay?" "Okay, Daddy." I walked back to my office, closed the door, sat down at my desk, and stared at the wall. I didn't confront Rachel that night. I didn't ask questions, didn't hint, didn't let on that anything was wrong. I played the role, husband, father, normal Tuesday evening. We ate dinner, spaghetti, Emma's favorite. We watched an episode of Bluey together. We put Emma to bed. Rachel kissed me goodnight and fell asleep by 10 p.m. I lay awake until 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, running scenarios. Maybe Emma misunderstood. Maybe it was a delivery guy. Maybe Rachel ordered flowers for herself, and Emma just assumed they were from someone else. Maybe, but my gut said otherwise. Because I remembered the flowers from last week, the ones Rachel said she grabbed at the store. Yellow roses, the same flowers Emma described. The next morning, Wednesday, I went into the office like normal, sat through meetings, wrote code, pretended my world wasn't cracking. At lunch, I called my buddy Marcus. Marcus and I went to college together. He's a private investigator now, handles corporate stuff mostly, but he's done domestic cases. I need a favor, I said. What's up? I told him everything. Emma's comment, the flowers, the timeline. Marcus was quiet for a moment. You want me to check it out? Yeah. When? Next Tuesday. You got it. I'll set up surveillance. Discreet. If someone's coming to your house, I'll get photos, plates, the works. Thanks, man. Dan, he said carefully, you sure you want to know? I thought about Emma's innocent face, about the yellow roses, about the word privacy. Yeah, I said, I'm sure. The next few days were torture. I went through the motions, work, dinner, bedtime routines. Rachel acted completely normal, affectionate even. Friday night, we watched a movie together after Emma went to bed. She fell asleep on my shoulder. I looked down at her and thought, is this real, or is this just another Tuesday performance? Saturday, we took Emma to the park. Rachel pushed her on the swings. We got ice cream. Sunday, we went to brunch. Rachel held my hand across the table. It felt like a marriage, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was living in a set, that the moment I left the stage, a different show started, one I wasn't invited to. Monday night, I barely slept. I kept rehearsing the plan. Tuesday morning, I'd leave the house at 8 a.m. like always, drive toward the office. But instead of going downtown, I'd circle back, park 2 streets over, walk to Marcus's van, which would be parked with a clear view of my house, and I'd wait. At 6 a.m., my alarm went off. I got up, showered, dressed in my usual work clothes. Rachel was already awake, making coffee. Big day? She asked. Just the usual, I said. She smiled, kissed my cheek. Have a good one. I grabbed my laptop bag, kissed Emma goodbye. She was eating cereal in her pajamas. Bye, Daddy. Bye, Bug. I walked out the door, got in my car, and drove away. I circled the block twice, then parked on a side street 3 blocks from my house. Marcus's van was already there. Black panel van, tinted windows, the kind contractors use. I knocked on the back door. It opened. Get in, Marcus said. Inside, the van was packed with equipment, cameras on tripods, monitors, recording gear. Jesus, I said. I don't mess around, Marcus replied. He pointed to a monitor showing a live feed of my front door. Cameras mounted in the tree across the street. Looks like a birdhouse. No one will notice. How long have you been here? Since 7 a.m. I checked my watch. 8:47 a.m. Now we wait, Marcus said. I sat down on a small stool, stared at the monitor. My house looked normal, quiet, peaceful, the kind of place where nothing bad happens. At 9:23 a.m., a car pulled into my driveway. Silver Audi A6, sleek, expensive. My stomach dropped. The driver's door opened. A man stepped out. Tall, mid-40s, well-dressed, charcoal suit, no tie. He was holding a bouquet of yellow roses. Marcus zoomed in with the camera. You know this guy? I stared at the screen. No? The man walked up to my front door, rang the bell. 10 seconds later, the door opened. Rachel. She was smiling. She didn't just open the door. She stepped out onto the porch, hugged him. Not a polite hug, a long hug. His hand went to the small of her back. She pulled away, laughing at something he said. He handed her the flowers. She smelled them, smiled again. Then she looked around, checking the street, and ushered him inside. The door closed. I sat there, staring at the empty porch, feeling like I'd been punched in the chest. Marcus didn't say anything. He just kept recording. How long do you want to wait? Marcus asked after a few minutes. As long as it takes, I said. We sat in silence. The monitor showed my front door. Nothing moved. At 10:15, I saw movement in the window, a shadow passing by the living room. At 10:48, Emma's preschool bus pulled up.
Rachel came out to meet it, smiled at the driver, took Emma's hand. They went inside. The man's car was still in the driveway. "She brought the kid home while he's still in there?" Marcus muttered. "Ballsy." I felt sick. At 11:02, the front door opened again. The man stepped out, adjusted his jacket, smiled at Rachel, who was standing in the doorway. He leaned in, kissed her. Not a peck, a real kiss. Then he walked to his car, got in, and drove away. Marcus got the license plate.
Rachel stood on the porch for a moment, watching him leave. Then she went back inside. I sat there for a long time, staring at the monitor. "You okay?" Marcus asked. "No." He handed me a USB drive. "Everything's on here. Video, timestamps, photos, plate numbers in the file." "Thanks. What are you going to do?" I took a breath. "I don't know yet." That was a lie. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I didn't go home that day. I called my boss, told him I was feeling sick, and took the rest of the day off. Then I drove to a coffee shop and sat in the corner with my laptop. I opened the video file Marcus gave me, watched it 3 times. Each time it hurt a little less, not because it didn't matter, because I was moving from heartbreak to strategy. I ran the license plate through a database Marcus had given me access to. The car was registered to a man named Brendan Cole. I Googled him. LinkedIn profile popped up immediately. Brendan Cole, Senior Vice President, Marketing, Helix Media Group. My blood went cold. Helix Media Group. Rachel's company. I clicked through his profile. 15 years in marketing, MBA from Northwestern, based in Austin. His profile picture showed the same man I'd seen on my porch, smiling, confident. I scrolled down. Under Experience, it listed his current role, Senior Vice President overseeing the Creative Strategy Division. Rachel worked in Creative Strategy, which meant Brendan Cole wasn't just some random guy. He was her boss. I sat back, staring at the screen. My wife was having an affair with her married boss. Because of course he was married. I clicked over to Facebook. His profile was semi-private, but I could see enough. Profile picture, Brendan with a woman and 2 kids. Smiling family photo. Lake in the background. Cover photo. Celebrating 12 years with my beautiful wife. Posted 6 months ago. I screenshotted everything. Then I opened a new folder on my laptop and labeled it Evidence. I dropped in the video files, the photos, the screenshots, the license plate info. Everything organized, dated, documented. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to smash things. I was going to be smart. That night, I came home at my normal time, walked in like nothing had happened. "Hey," Rachel said from the kitchen. "How was work?" "Good. Busy." Emma ran up and hugged my legs. "Daddy!" I picked her up. "Hey, Bug. How was your day?" "Good. I played with my dolls." "That's great." I set her down, looked at Rachel. She was smiling, relaxed. There were yellow roses on the dining room table. "Those are pretty," I said. "Thanks. I thought we needed some color." I nodded. "You're right." We ate dinner, spaghetti again. We watched TV. We put Emma to bed together. And the whole time I played the part, the oblivious husband, the man who didn't know. After Rachel fell asleep, I went into my office. I pulled up the evidence folder and started building a timeline. Week 1, Tuesday, April 2nd. Brendan arrives at 9:30 a.m., leaves at 11:15 a.m. Week 2, Tuesday, April 9th. Brendan arrives at 9:20 a.m., leaves at 11 a.m. Week 3, Tuesday, April 16th. Brendan arrives at 9:23 a.m., leaves at 11:02 a.m.
A pattern, consistent, routine. This wasn't a fling. This was planned. I opened a new document and started writing. Not a confrontation script, a strategy. Step 1, gather more evidence. Step 2, consult a lawyer. Step 3, protect Emma. Step 4, burn it all down. The next morning, I called a family lawyer. Her name was Catherine Reeves. Marcus had recommended her. "She's a shark," he said. "You want her on your side." I met with Catherine that afternoon during my lunch break. Her office was downtown, clean, professional. I sat across from her and laid out everything: the video, the timeline, the boss, the flowers. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair. "Texas is a no-fault divorce state," she said. "Adultery doesn't affect asset division, but it does affect custody." "Custody?" I asked. "If you can prove she's bringing her affair partner into the home while your daughter is present, that's a factor. It shows poor judgment. A judge will consider it." I felt something loosen in my chest. "So I can protect Emma?" "Yes, and we can push for primary custody." "What do I need to do?" "Keep documenting. Don't confront her yet. Let her think you don't know. The more evidence we have, the stronger our case." I nodded. "How long?" "Give it 2 more weeks. If the pattern continues, we'll have an airtight case." 2 more weeks. I could do that. The following Tuesday, I did it again. Left the house at 8 a.m., circled back, met Marcus in the van. At 9:18 a.m., the silver Audi pulled into my driveway. Brendan Cole stepped out, yellow roses in hand. Rachel opened the door, smiled, hugged him. They went inside. This time, I didn't feel heartbreak. I felt cold, calculated clarity. Marcus recorded everything. At 10:52 a.m., Emma's bus arrived. Rachel brought her inside. At 11:05 a.m., Brendan left. Same routine, same timeline. I added it to the evidence folder. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't just going to divorce Rachel. I was going to make sure Brendan Cole faced consequences too. I opened LinkedIn, found Helix Media Group's company page, clicked on About, found the executive team, CEO Monica Harrington. I clicked on her profile, sent her a message. Subject: confidential matter involving employee conduct. "Ms. Harrington, my name is Daniel Foster. I'm writing to bring to your attention a matter involving one of your senior executives, Brendan Cole. I have documented evidence of an ongoing affair between Mr. Cole and a subordinate employee, conducted during work hours and involving company resources. I believe this violates your company's code of conduct and creates a liability for Helix Media Group. I'm happy to provide documentation if you'd like to discuss this matter further. Respectfully, Daniel Foster." I hit send. Then I closed my laptop and went to bed. 2 days later, I got a response. "Mr. Foster, this is Monica Harrington. Thank you for reaching out." I replied, "Yes." The next day, at 2 p.m., my phone rang. "Mr. Foster, this is Monica Harrington. Thank you for reaching out."
Her voice was calm, professional, but I could hear the steel underneath. "Thank you for taking the time," I said. "I've reviewed your message. You mentioned documentation. Yes, video evidence, timestamps, license plate records, everything is date-stamped and verifiable. Can you send that to me?" "I can, but I want to be clear. I'm not doing this out of spite. I'm doing this because what's happening is wrong, and because it's affecting my family." "I understand. Send me what you have. I'll review it with our legal team." "Thank you." I hung up. Then I sent her the evidence folder. 3 days later, Rachel came home from work early. She looked shaken. "What's wrong?" I asked, playing dumb. "Nothing, just a weird day at work." "Want to talk about it?" "No, I'm fine." She wasn't fine. That night, she barely touched her dinner. The next morning, she got a call. I was in the kitchen when I heard her voice from the other room. "What?" No, that's not... I didn't... A pause. This is insane. You can't just... Another pause, longer. Fine, I'll be there in an hour. She came into the kitchen, face pale. I have to go into the office. Everything okay? Yeah, just HR wants to talk to me. About what? I don't know. She grabbed her purse and left. She was gone for 4 hours. When she came back, her eyes were red. What happened? I asked. She didn't answer right away, just stood in the doorway, staring at nothing. They fired Brendan. Who's Brendan? She looked at me. My boss. Why? They said there was a complaint about inappropriate conduct. I kept my face neutral. That's terrible. They're investigating me too. For what? They think I was involved. Were you? She didn't answer. That night, after Emma went to bed, Rachel finally broke. I need to tell you something, she said. We were sitting on the couch, the same couch where we used to watch movies, where we used to be happy. Okay, I said. She took a breath. I've been seeing someone. I didn't react, just waited. Who? Brendan, my boss. The one who got fired? She nodded, tears starting to fall. I'm so sorry, Dan. I never meant for this to happen. How long were you planning to keep it going? I don't know. I was going to end it. I didn't know how. I stood up. I need some air. I walked outside, stood on the porch. The same porch where Brendan Cole had kissed my wife. I pulled out my phone and texted Catherine. She confessed. I'm ready to file. The divorce papers were served a week later. Rachel didn't fight it. She couldn't. The evidence was overwhelming. The video, the timeline, her own confession. Catherine pushed for primary custody. Rachel's lawyer tried to argue, but the judge wasn't sympathetic. Mrs. Foster, the judge said, you brought your affair partner into the family home while your daughter was present. That shows a serious lapse in judgment. Rachel's face crumpled. I'm awarding primary custody to Mr. Foster. Mrs. Foster will have supervised visitation until further review. The gavel came down. It was over. Brendan Cole didn't fare much better. Helix Media Group terminated him for violating their ethics policy. His wife filed for divorce 2 weeks later. Last I heard, he's working at a small firm in Dallas, took a massive pay cut. Rachel moved into an apartment across town. She sees Emma every other weekend. Supervised visits at first, but eventually the judge lifted that restriction. Emma asks about her sometimes. Why doesn't Mommy live with us anymore? Because sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, I tell her. But Mommy still loves you very much. It's not a lie. Rachel does love Emma. She just didn't love our marriage enough to protect it. I still live in the same house. Emma's room is still full of toys and drawings. We have a new routine now, just the two of us. Breakfast together, school drop-off, work, pickup, dinner, bath, bedtime stories. It's simpler, quieter, but it's honest. No more secrets, no more Tuesdays I don't know about. Just me and my daughter building a life that's real. A few months ago, Emma was coloring at the kitchen table. She looked up at me. Daddy, do you think Mommy's friend still brings her flowers? I crouched down next to her. I don't know, Bug, but it doesn't matter anymore. Why not? Because we're okay. Just you and me. She smiled. I like just you and me. Me too, Bug. Me too. If you've ever had your world turned upside down by something a child said innocently, if you've ever had to choose between rage and strategy, if you've ever protected what matters most even when it hurt, this one's for you.
Comment "just you and me" if this hit home. Hit subscribe for more stories about the quiet strength it takes to rebuild. Because sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is also the thing that sets you free.